American Humane Guide or Hearing Dog.
The last thing I remember seeing is some of the guys that were actually in my platoon. To this day, they still don't know what caused the explosion. There was a lot of depression that went along with the disability. You learn to live in this new kind of realm.
One of the biggest struggles day to day was Don would tend to not do a lot of things because of not knowing what could happen.
And I think you'll hear that from a lot of people that deal with vision loss and blindness is we tend to kind of fall into the shadows of society. We learn to utilize the cane. The cane becomes an extension for us, and unfortunately, in my experiences, there isn't a great deal of compassion still today for folks with our canes. I've had canes kicked out of my hand, and I've also had canes that were just broken by individuals.
My son, Jordan, really always had a huge concern for Don's mobility.
Of course, he can't see, so he doesn't know where he's walking, and so I took the role of guiding him.
The USS Alabama is a battleship that is a floating museum. We wanted to go there because we wanted Jordan to understand, you know, what his grandfather had served on. Anybody that's familiar with naval vessels understands the tight corridors and how difficult it can be. There's staircases, ladders, gun turrets.
I was a little bit nervous.
That evening after we had gotten back and I sat down with Jordan and I said, what did you enjoy the most?
And really, I didn't remember anything because I was too focused on him.
That was when it really struck home to me that I had inadvertently maneuvered a young child at that point in time into a caretaker. It was depressing for me, and I had the conversation with Peggy as well that, you know, had I become too much of a burden.
He didn't want to hold us back, and he felt that his disability would be doing that. And I think at that very moment, I could never imagine living my life without him.
And I realized then that I had to make a change in my life. Good boy. When I met Pierce for the first time, I just knew it was meant to be. Forward. The instant that I took the harness and walked with the dog, it was just getting my brain to accept being able to move that fast again. Fidelco is an amazing organization, and what they do is they breed exclusively German Shepherds for guide dogs.
We train all our dogs, so we know our dogs very well. After the interview with Don, we know it's going to be a good match because, like, Don was very confident when he was working with Pierce.
He's got an incredible personality, so I couldn't have asked for a better match. When the harness goes on, he understands its work. His whole demeanor, his temperament, everything changes. He's looking and assessing his environment when we're up and we're moving, and he's gonna make sure that he's getting the job done safely and effectively.
When Pierce is not a guide dog and Pierce is our pet, he's a clown.
When he's out of harness and we're just in play mode, he plays hard, and he really enjoys that.
It's like night and day, black and white, for what Pierce has brought to this family. Since Pierce has been here, Jordan is able to be a kid. He doesn't worry so much about what's gonna happen to Dad because Pierce is taking care of Dad.
My life has changed in just remarkable ways. So the level of freedom, the level of independence that I've been able to get back in my life is hard to put into words. One of the most exciting opportunities for me was my wife's birthday. You know, birthdays for me was, and we go shopping and I pick out my birthday cake and I pick out my gifts and stuff like that. And for the first time since we'd been married, I was able to walk to the store, get her a cake, birthday card. And it was probably the best birthday cake I have ever had. Most people will tell you I spent 25 years of my life as a shadow. Pierce has given back to me that level of freedom, that level of independence that I lost 25 years ago in Iraq.
Dedicated to the recipients of the nation's oldest military decoration, the Purple Heart.
He does this because it's what he's been trained to do, but he does it out of love and respect.